More key midterm matchups are set after 6 states held primaries last night. There was a major upset in Wisconsin, where moderate Democrat David Crowley narrowly defeated socialist Francesca Hong for the gubernatorial nomination. In a statement, Hong congratulated Crowley, saying he has her full support and will work with him to defeat Trump-backed Republican Congressman Tom Tiffany in November. Democrats also saw a big shakeup in Connecticut. Former Hartford Mayor Luke Bronin beat 14-term Congressman John Larson. Larson is the 7th House Democrat to lose a primary this midterm cycle as some voters push for generational change in Congress. CBS News' Jarred Hill has more on the races in Wisconsin, South Carolina, and Minnesota.
In Wisconsin, it is a very good day.
In a very close Wisconsin Democratic primary for governor, CBS News projects moderate Milwaukee County Executive David Crowley over Democratic Socialist Francesca Hong, who had been polling well.
We may not agree on every policy. We may not use the same labels, but we all want safe communities, strong schools, affordable health care.
Crowley is now set to face Republican Congressman Tom Tiffany in November. Tiffany has already received President Trump's backing. In South Carolina, appointed incumbent Senator Darlene Graham, sister of late Republican Senator Lindsey Graham, is headed for a runoff in a test of President Trump's endorsement.
South Carolina and President Trump need a leader who's tough, principled, and will fight to advance our conservative values in Washington.
CBS News projects Graham will face off against Republican Congressman Ralph Norman later this month after falling short of an outright 50% majority in Tuesday's special primary contest.
I want everybody to unite and come with us because we've got the right message. I've got a great resume that I'm proud of.
President Trump strongly encouraged Graham to seek a full term following her brother's sudden death. The GOP winner will face Democrat Dr. Annie Andrews this November. In Minnesota's Senate battle, progressive Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan beat moderate Congresswoman Angie Craig in the Democratic primary.
This campaign was about the many versus the money. Well, guess what? The many just won.
Flanagan will face Republican Michelle Tafoya, a former sportscaster, in this fall's high-profile contest to succeed retiring Democratic Senator Tina Smith. Jarred Hill, CBS News.
We've got a lot to dig into, so let's bring in CBS News political reporter Zak Hudak. So, Zak, let's start in Wisconsin here. I mean, we were expecting it to maybe be close, but also Hong had been polling ahead. So what happened?
Lindsay, if you had asked a few weeks ago, we would have said that it certainly seemed like Hong was going to win this race, but a lot has happened in just a couple of weeks. We've seen several of her previous Twitter posts come to light, and that has really brought a lot of controversy to her campaign. It's also brought questions of her electability statewide when you get to a general election, and I think there have been concerns among Democrats in the state that while she might perform well and boost even some turnout in a primary, she would really struggle in a state like Wisconsin going up against someone like Tom Tiffany. I would also point out that David Crowley had left this race. He really had run out of momentum and then saw sort of the blood in the water and moved toward getting back in here just last month, re-entered the race and built up a good bit of momentum, really doubling down on being a moderate candidate. This all happened in the background also of the week prior, we saw Abdul El-Sayed win in Michigan. There's been talk among some Democratic strategists that Francesca Hong winning that primary in the neighboring state would actually be a major drag on him. So I think that was something that was also in the minds of some of those Democratic voters as they went to the polls this week.
I mean, it really isn't some like big sweeping statement that you can make, some brush stroke that you can sweep across the whole country, because you have a Democratic socialist losing in Wisconsin, but a progressive candidate, not a self-described socialist, but a progressive, Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan, overwhelmingly winning her primary for U.S. Senate in Minnesota. So what does that tell us about the party right now?
Lindsay, I think that is the exact distinction that we need to make. There is clearly the appetite among Democrats to elect far progressives in statewide races. We saw it in Minnesota, as you mentioned. We saw it in Michigan. Candidates who are framing themselves as outsiders, which was very much the case with Peggy Flanagan. Even though she is well known in the state, she held statewide office, her name is well known, she still came to that race talking about needing to change the status quo. So those ideas can do well. When they start not doing so well and maybe being a drag on Democrats more broadly is when certain titles get attached to them. Things like socialism, Democratic Socialists of America, as was the case with Hong, or language that Democratic Socialists use. Francesca Hong would talk about things like defunding the police, abolishing ICE. Progressives like Peggy Flanagan talk about reforming those things. So I think what this shows is Democrats do have an appetite to elect farther left progressives than in the past, but not so much, at least in statewide elections, to elect Democratic Socialists.
What are you watching for in South Carolina now that that Senate race is going for a runoff?
Lindsay, I think the big question is, can Darlene Graham win over those voters who didn't vote for her or for Norman? It's going to be a tough battle because those other two candidates, those Russell Fry and Mark Sanford, those are well-known people who have served in Congress and have a record to run on. For Graham, she has essentially no record to run on. She has her very short record in Congress. So she's going to have to hammer home that she will carry the torch from her brother and they can rely on her to be a similar voter in the Senate.
Zak Hudak, thank you so much.